Despite overcoming and revealing the secret horrors of the Coastal Union, the Interloper Initiative find themselves powerless to prevent the incoming apocalypse. Their last chance is the perilous journey into the South, a land where the dead speak and the phenomenon has consumed all. Worst still, their only guide is their worst enemy. Whilst Bear and Bee travel to the old broken world to find a way of stopping the apocalypse, Glass and Dusty contend with the plans of a cult that has nestled at the very root of the Coastal Union. If either of them fail, the Union will fall, and the last light of humanity will fade out. Only the best efforts of the Icebreaker crew can stop what is coming, and even that may not be enough. Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. For today's video, given it's going to be released in the the last month of the year, also when the year is coming to a close, I thought I would also bring some things to a close, and I'm going to start this closure establishment by reviewing the third and final book of the Interloper Trilogy. Hold up a second while I pick you up. Under the Oak by Stephen William Hanna. Another quite pretty cover, even though it is ironically busy. By ironically busy, I mean that there is a lot of empty space, but there is a very busy central piece that really makes it seem like it's a little bit more involved than it actually is. I do want to give my congratulations to Stephen's cover artist, not just for this book, but for the entire trilogy. I'm relatively sure it's the same artist every time. At least it sure does look like it, given it has a very unitary style. Not just because these individual covers look quite well, but also because they are used to signal the progression of the story, as well as of the themes and symbology that the various that the individual books showcase as the trilogy develops. So to that end, I have to say, well done. Does that level of care and attention extend to what is behind the cover? Well, my impressions in summary are: this is the most uneven book of this trilogy so far. I do appreciate that even now it is still finding new ways to play around with its setting, new facets to showcase and explore. However, not all exploration really runs as smoothly. The newly discovered elements aren't perhaps as effectively integrated within the story as they could have been, therefore diminishing the narrative impact that they might have had. Still, from an intellectual standpoint, there's plenty to like about this book, and the progression of both plot and mystery is still interesting enough to observe and to explore. So if you've been reading through this trilogy and are thinking of seeing it through to the end, I really can't think of anything that would speak against that. And now that I'm done with with my broad impressions, it's time I delved into some specifics. The plot of this book picks up soon after the ending of the previous one, with the main theme that readers have been following throughout this trilogy now being split into two duos. The first of these duos, consisting of series main character Bear and his low-key love interest Bee, head to the south of the setting in order to connect with some survivors of the event that led to this particular setting becoming post-apocalyptic, whereas the other two, Glass and Dusty, stay within the established parts of the setting in order to contend with an internal threat. Unbeknownst to these two parties, however, The threats the threats each of them individually, individually seek to explore and contain are actually working together, thereby enhancing the danger both of them present. I already mentioned this book being somewhat uneven, and and I think the most prominent way in which that comes to life comes through all the ways the plot itself twists and shifts. The the methods and abilities of the villains come a little bit more to the forefront, and that is primarily because their abilities allow them to alter the plot mechanics in ways that haven't been presented yet, and it is that alteration that leads to a lot of rug pulls. Well, okay, not a lot of rug pulls, some rug pulls when when going through this story. Some hollow subversions where it looks as though the story could go one way, but in fact goes another way without without a lot of build up or establishment to showcase that could be a possibility. I think this particular development was meant to keep both both the characters and the readers of the book on edge. However, for me personally, the connection to the characters that would have been necessary to the connection that the characters would have been necessary to make this to make this twist, or to make these twists interesting and worthwhile, simply simply wasn't there. Now don't get me wrong. I don't think that the main characters of this book are somehow made boring over the course of this book. Far from it. My issue is that the the villains are just kind of all of a sudden have have these things that they can do, and I don't know, that comes across as gratuitous for the for the reasons I've already mentioned. Another way in which this book comes across as uneven is due to the fact that it includes more perspectives or more points of view within the story. Unlike the previously mentioned, something fell off. Never mind, we're still good. Unlike the previously mentioned aspects of this book, however, this one is more effectively integrated within the broader story, allowing a lot of long-standing characters to finally receive their their moment to shine, so to speak, as readers get to learn what their minds, their methods, and their motives are like, what it is that they seek, what it is they seek to accomplish, and how exactly they seek to accomplish that, making the characterization of this book more more interesting to follow. That being said, characters that have previously been spotlit aren't neglected either, because the new situations within which they find themselves give them plenty of avenues through which to explore and for which to interact with the setting, allowing the audience to deepen their connection with them through through that end, while also also showcasing how it is that they not just go through it, but interact with, intellectualize it, and intellectualize the new parts of this world that are revealed to them. That also helps enhance the world building, as there are as the mystery behind the paranormal is is explored a little bit more deeply. Its attributes are explored to some degree, and its its mechanisms get highlighted and quite effectively presented over the course of this book as well, making for a very interesting reading experience. And I do very much appreciate the fact that even now, when this book is, when this trilogy is supposed to come to a close, the author is still capable of finding ways to effectively integrate new reveals and new, new points of interest when it comes to how this, when it comes to how this narrative is supposed to unfold, making for a, very memorable, if somewhat uneven, conclusion to this trilogy. Overall, even though not all aspects of this book are are as effectively ironed out as the rest, the the general impression I get from reading through it is that of a very intriguing, very eye-catching, and very enrapturing, captivating reading experience that in many ways pays off the adventure that the audience would have gotten themselves into, have gotten themselves into ever since the beginning of the trilogy. So my final rating for Under the Oak is a 4 out of 5. Same as the rest of the books in the trilogy, but still, in spite of that, they are not exactly equal when it comes to their quality. I would say the first book is still the best in the trilogy, but the additional books do add do make plenty of new additions and play around with the various elements of the world in in intriguing and eye-catching ways, while also delivering some very interesting, also very much taking advantage of its narrative potential to showcase some very interesting story developments and some very exciting characters to explore, allowing it to therefore grow beyond its label as beyond its genre label as simply a post-apocalyptic mystery horror. It is a thrill ride, from beginning to end, and one that is bound to capture the hearts, minds, and imaginations of very much any kind of reader that would get their hands on it. So even though I recommended each individual book of this trilogy, I can now very safely say that I would also recommend the trilogy as a whole, because it is quite interesting to as it has been very interesting to go through, and very satisfying to conclude. And yeah, that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video, maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself, to the trilogy more broadly, or to or to my review or reviews of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe, and ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and A Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective master links in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. And given the third book of this, my series is on the way, now might be as good a time as any to, to choose to explore my social media links, because who knows, I might just have some reveals up my sleeve. Additionally, I also have a second channel where you can hear me talking about whatever crosses my mind, but it'll typically still be related to narrative analyses, but of works outside of the print medium. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and check it out. If, however, you want to hear more about my thoughts on the print medium and selected works therein, well then I suggest you stay on this channel and go through my extensive backlog covering covering not just book reviews, but also writing advice and miscellaneous connected topics. If that doesn't sound interesting to you either, then I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it from me. So until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been The Heir's Lair.